God smiles upon a lot of people. Well, he be grinning at me. He be grinning at me. I've had some grins. You know what I'm saying? Y'all saw what happened yesterday with Peter and everything. I get grins. I do. I get grins. But I swear for the Lord must be smiling down on this one right here. God is smiling down on her, because Lord have mercy, for that to be your first kiss and your first kiss with a woman, and first passionate kiss in general, like. Don't yell at her when she gave no explicit permission to yell at her. Episode 5. Facts, bruh. Don't yell at me. Yo, they a mess, dog. They are a mess. All right. So let's get into this part. So, obviously this is after the funeral, and the part I don't feel the need to show you, but I think we all know the part where Kunung was being very indifferent towards Sam. Instead of grieving her grandmother, she was talking about the estate and how they should be splitting up their inheritance and so on and so forth. Obviously, that was a defense mechanism to protect her from breaking down in front of everyone. And that leads us to this moment here. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm not going to say much during this part. I just want us to appreciate P5's performance here. So I'm just going to be quiet. I wonder how she ended up burning her stuff when she was the one that invested in her art, it seems. That's weird. Humans are weird and complicated.
แต่ย่าคิดถึงคุณหนึ่งนะคะตั้งแต่ที่คุณหนึ่งไม่อยู่ย่าดูไม่ค่อยมีความสุขย่าก็มีตัวเล็กไงย่ารักตัวเล็กจะตาย
Yeah, her grandmother was trying to make up with her, but she was still trying to do it in a controlling way. So I still
ที่ย่า
understand.
ไม่อยู่แล้วคุณหนึ่งจะมาเสียใจ
I
ทีหลัง
understand
ที่วันนี้ไม่
Kunung's
พูดดีๆกับย่า
นี่ตัวเล็กฟังนะ
apprehensiveness.
คนอย่างย่าไม่ป่วยตาย
That
ง่าย
was crazy. The old woman like grandma does not get easy to get old and sick and die. Believe me, she was. See that part right there. That sucks when you think you have more time with a person than you really do. And of course that will come back to mind. Like she's like, damn, I should have did it. So I think from what I understand, she was explaining in that moment that where she was able to pull that pain and that anguish from was from her losing her real grandmother. I think she said that in the workshop, but I imagine that wasn't a very easy scene for her to play out, but she did it so masterfully. It wasn't over the top. It was very realistic, and it stayed very true to the way Kunung would grieve, which is silently alone by herself. You know what I'm saying? Just full of self-guilt, condemnation, and regret. Damn.
อันหนึ่งคะ
กลับไปก่อนง่วงบอกให้กลับไปก่อนไง
That persistence though.
อันหนึ่งคะเปิดประตูให้เขาหน่อยนะ
Now you know she ain't going nowhere. Just open the door.
อันหนึ่งคะ ไม่เป็นไรนะคะ
ไม่เป็นไร ไม่ได้เป็นอะไร
เขาดูออก เขารู้ว่าหนึ่งเจ็บปวดมาก
Now, when she says "I see you," and I know I talked about it a little bit during just like my initial reaction, but when she says "I see you," she means that. Anung, for whatever reason, has a level of insight into Kunung that I don't think anyone around her, except for maybe Sam, has. But Sam has come with diligent effort, whereas it seems Anung can inherently read Kunung. You know, I know it was weird when she said it, but I think it was episode 2 or 3, maybe episode 2 or 3, or maybe the first episode, when she said when Anung was like, you were waiting for me to be born. The way that she can see into her, despite their age difference and everything else, the way that she can read her, the way that they are basically the same, and the way that they deal with things and handle things, it definitely speaks to a twin flame, twin soul kind of situation. So again, I think in this moment when she says I see you, she's not just talking about like I can look at your behavior and tell. She's saying like I can see into you, like I can read you and I can feel you in a way that other people can't. You know what I'm saying? It's a tangible see, not just a metaphorical.
อย่ามาทำเป็นรู้เลยนะ
เราใส่หน้ากากแบบเดียวกันมาตลอด
We've always worn the same mask.
เขาดูออก ยิ่งอันหนึ่งทำเหมือนว่าไม่ได้เป็นอะไร
Yup.
เขาก็ยิ่งรู้
She knows how to do that too.
ว่าหนึ่งเจ็บปวดมากกว่าใคร เขาอยู่ตรงนี้นะ
Now, that I'm here for you, in the way that Kunung turned and looked at her, do you guys see how open? Like, first of all, kudos to P5 for acting this out exquisitely. The open vulnerability with which she is showing when she said, I'm here for you. Kunung looked at her like, say it again, like I need, like she looked at her like I need more reassurance. I need you to be here for me, but I don't know if I can trust it. Give me anything, give me something to hold on to so that I can see and that I can know that I can trust you in this moment, my moment of my greatest vulnerability and my greatest weakness. Can I trust you? This look, she did this so, the way that she looked back at her when she said, I'm here for you. And I love the way that right here in this moment, because again, this is a level of emotional maturity that is almost inherent to Anung, but she knows inherently that Kunung needs a level of control. So she takes her hand and she touches her face, right? She takes her hand and she touches her face, which puts Kunung, in a certain level of control, even in the midst of her vulnerability. Like, instead of her touching Kunung's face, she takes Kunung's hand and puts it on her face, right? I don't think y'all understand. Like, again, I'm not saying it's like intentional or conscious. It's like inherent. that she feels that she knows like Kunung needs a level of control in this moment, but at the same time she's extremely vulnerable. So she's like putting her hand on her face so that she can be the one touching her, but then at the same time she says, I'm here for you.
เขาอยู่ตรงนี้นะ
And that's why she immediately, when she looked at her, she was like, I need more reassurance. Like, I hear your words, but I need more. That's why immediately Anong went to her and hugged her. And when she did that, that's when Kunung, you see, she was able to let the levees break. And she was holding on to her for dear life, bruh. I need y'all to understand that she could not even be this vulnerable in front of her sister, in front of Sam. Like, the depths with which Anong has accessed Kunung, I don't think either of them realize it yet. You know what I'm saying? And not even by the end of this episode did they realize it yet, that she was more vulnerable to Anong and in front of Anong than she was even with Sam. And she's literally holding on to her for dear life. In this moment, she says, it's okay. I'm here. She feels so, you can tell she's just so heavy. She's like, she let it all out on her. She literally just left it on her. And then I love this moment. And I know it's so small to everyone else and they may not have even picked up on it. But this moment right here, just watch what Kunung does, okay? After she has heaved, literally heaved and cried on Anung's shoulders, watch this. Okay, you see the way that she like dropped against the wall. Again, I know that doesn't mean shit to anybody else. They just watching it and they're like, oh, this is, it probably went over your head. But the level of, and trust me, I'm speaking from experience, the level of indifference that Kunung functions at on a daily basis, and even on the day of her grandmother's passing, remember, she had to act indifferent all the way up until the point, up until she got into her own apartment by herself, and then she fell against her door and began to sob and slid down to the floor. That was when she was able to let that indifference down. So when Anung walked in, she felt she had to be indifferent again until Anung said, I'm here for you. She took her hand and touched her face and said, I'm here for you. And she opened up and she heaved and she fell on her and she felt heavy on her and she let her emotional burden out on Anung. And then once she's done that, she falls against the wall, spent, heavy. It is exhausting. I know people think that indifference is easy, but it's not. It is exhausting to be so indifferent on in a perpetual state, like on a daily basis. And she was tired and she felt like she finally could let go in front of someone. And that right there, I'm trying to tell you, pay attention to the way that she was looking at Anung before she even leaned in and kissed her. That's the reason why she was looking at her that way. That's the reason why she was looking at her that way. She realized then, I'm completely and totally in love with her. Watch. That look right there. That look right there as Anung is wiping her tears away. I know that we didn't get to see it straight on, but I'm telling you right now, she was realizing right there in that moment when she looked at her, she was gone. She knew she was gone. Her heart, nobody else matters at all. She knew she was gone. When she looked up at her, when Kunung looked at her right there, look, that's why she grabbed her hand like that. And that's why she was able to share what she's about to share. She would never open herself up like this to anyone else. She realized how much she loved that woman. And she said, okay, okay, okay. And she gave Anung all of her.
ถ้าวันนั้นอายอมพูดดีๆกับย่าป่านนี้เราคงดีกันไปตั้งนานแล้วหรือถ้าอายอมแต่งงานกับเชษฐ์ย่าคงจะมีความสุขกว่านี้
ไม่เอานะคะ ไม่โทษตัวเองแบบนี้นะ
Now, what's about to happen here? Again, this is balancing out their emotional maturity. So here Anung listening to Kunung pour out her regrets. She doesn't have enough life experience to advise her or talk her through this without the, just the traditional consoling comments like don't think too much about this and I'm here for you. Now watch what she does because she doesn't have the wisdom or the experience to verbally console Kunung. That's why she diverts to or defaults to affection. Real quick, you see the way she searched her face first? As she was looking at her and she was desperately jogging her mind to figure out how can I console her. She was searching for the words and searching for the ways to console Kunung, who seems inconsolable in this moment. And so again, like we all do, and that's just human instinct, when we run out of words, the next best thing is affection. And this is why I spoke to y'all and I told y'all when I was doing the reaction, the reason why people tend to have like sex is very common after funerals is because when words can't console, nothing consoles deeper than intimate affection. And that's essentially how we got to this moment between the two of them. It's so gentle and so sweet. Now, there was so much going on in Kunung's head when she was looking at her right here. So, you see how her eyes are moving back and forth. I told y'all about that. I've seen Fa look at Charlotte like that a lot. That searching gaze, there are questions inside of Kunung. Some of them that she can verbalize and she can put conscious thought to, and some of them are unbeknownst to her, but they're still begging the answer, right? And inside of her gaze and inside of that searching gaze that she had, there were so many questions. And I can name a few of them. Like, I think some were, why is this, like, why do I feel what I'm feeling right now? Is this the grief? What does this mean? Why am I doing this? I shouldn't be doing this. Like, there's a lot of thoughts and questions, like I said, that are kind of like probably bouncing around inside of her head right now. But she was waiting to see what Anung would do, and she let Anung have complete and total control of this moment, even though she's the one that was in need in this moment. She let Anung control, and I think even in her grief and even in her need for consolation, she still recognizes that Anung has to be the one to initiate this because of their age difference and because she doesn't want to feel herself as if she's manipulating Anung. You know what I'm saying? Into doing anything. So there was a lot going on here, and I think again, P5, credit to her, kudos to her. Have to give credit. She does great face acting. I don't know what you call it, but her expressions, her eyes, her mouth, everything does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it's always so realistic, and it's never over the top or underwhelming. It's exquisite every time. Now right there in her face and her expression, it was, I know I need this, but am I willing to accept the consequences that will come with this decision? Even though I need this and I want this right now, am I ready to deal with everything that will come after that? And I don't think that she necessarily gave herself an answer or allowed herself to answer, as much as she just was like ignoring what the answer could be and ignoring the consequences and move forward because her grief and the emotions in the moment were too overwhelming. I think it's so powerful that they had, and hear me out, this could be me completely reaching in the directors and writers and the actors could have had no intention of this or no idea or thought of this in mind, but I think that it's very interesting the way that Kunung is laying there for all intents and purposes lifeless, as if she's in a casket of her own. And as this loving interaction continues to play out, it's almost as if Anung is bringing her to life with every word of affirmation and show of affection. Again, I could be completely wrong in reading, but the writer in me, I see that. Like, if you look at the way she's laying here, she's literally just like lifeless. Like, aside from her tears, she could be in a casket herself. And it's like Anung's affection and her love is what's bringing her to life. In so many ways. Not just in this moment of grief, but in general. I think this is the moment that Kunung's heart actually wakes up. Now, what's really important, because I know I've been breaking down Kunung's expressions. Here, Anung is looking like, you can see it in her face that she is so deeply in love and she very much wants this moment, and that's what makes her lean in. But she's also, her conscience kicks in, overriding her heart and her desire, and says this isn't the right time. And that was her, those were her instincts. Her instincts were telling her this is not the right time for you and her to do this. This is not y'all's moment. But you know, we see how it played out. But this was, I think it was very important to recognize this expression in this moment for Anung, because she was also considering a lot of things in this moment. But she was also realizing just like how much she wanted it and how much she loves her. But she was wrestling with her conscience too, right here in this moment. And that's why she stopped. Her conscience won.
มันไม่ถูก เขาไม่ควรมาทำอะไรแบบนี้
See, because she felt like she was taking advantage of Kunung in this moment of her grief. But Kunung, in particular, obviously wanted to be taken advantage of because she wanted to forget. She wanted to be numbed to what she was feeling and to feel anything else than, you know, the grief and the pain that she was feeling from losing her grandmother and not having reconciled with her before losing her.
มันไม่ใช่เวลา ไม่เป็นไร อยู่กับอานะ
But how you gonna say no to that? She said no. She said nah, don't go, don't, please stay with me. Can you? Bruh. That's it. They both all in on it at that point. And something else that I want to point out. I'll wait though. They open. Let's go. I'm going back that up a little bit. They scooping. Bruh. Imagine Faye Malasor being your first kiss with a woman. Your first French kiss in general. You know, God smiles upon a lot of people. Well, he be grinning at me. he be grinning at me. I've had some grins, you know what I'm saying? Y'all saw what happened yesterday with Peter and everything. I get grins. I get grins. But I swear for the Lord must be smiling down on this one right here. God is smiling down on her, because Lord have mercy, for that to be your first kiss and your first kiss with a woman, and first passionate kiss in general, like, the way that she controls her is absolutely bananas, bruh. She is fully running this. Like, this is like... Y'all see that little chin thing that Faye did? Let me tell you something. Like, young folk, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, teenagers and young 20s and stuff like that. Like, y'all be knowing how to kiss. That's fine. But there is a way that you kiss when you over like 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, when, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really know what you're doing. And the way that P5 like kind of stroked her chin and then grabbed her and controlled that y'all only the ones that know what I'm talking about. Like, that's a mature kiss, bro. Like, ooh, Yoko, girl, you are so lucky. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how like mature people kiss. Like, it's a different, and only people who've been dating for a long time get what I'm saying. There's a difference between, and who date different ages. There is a difference between how a 30-something-year-old kiss and a 20-something-year-old kiss, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different based on your ages. And I would go by every 5 years, it gets different. It's just something different. And P5 clearly kisses like she's over 30. You know what I'm saying? And Yoko, baby, you gonna be You gonna be an all-star. You gonna be an all-star if this is your sparring partner or your partner, your kissing partner for the next couple of series or whatever. You gonna be alright. You gonna be alright. But again, I love how Anong is the one that's controlling the situation, and it's very much just Kunlung being submitting to what's happening. Bro, look now, they gotta relax. That's the hairdresser in her. P5, that's the hairdresser in her. She said, girl, your hair is out of pocket. Now,
แค่หนึ่งบอก
just tell me.
เขาจะทำให้ทุกอย่าง
I'll do anything for you.
ทุกอย่างจริง
Neither one of them were ready for this moment. I need to be clear. Neither one of them were ready for this moment, but they were swept up in the emotions of the moment. This was not their moment. It was tragically beautiful in all the right ways and poetic in all the things, but this was not their moment, which is why it led into what it led into the next morning, because this was not their moment. It happened this way, and that's how it happens a lot when it's the first time. You know, you want it to be perfect, but it very rarely is. But this was not their moment. It was still tragically beautiful, though. And one thing that I realized is that if you pay attention, their kisses got more intense with every round, right? So the first time they kissed, it was very soft and gentle. And then the second time they kissed, it was a little bit more aggressive. And the third time they kissed, it was aggressive still. And then this time, it was just like, no, they went all the way in. Let's back that up so we can see it again.
ๆ ทุกอย่างจริง
She was like, anything? Yup. She said she about to ta-da-da. Out of control. How do you sign up to become an actress in Thailand? That's my question. Like, is there a list or a line or a wait? Is there an online seminar I can take? Bro, how do I do? I just want to be in. See, they're gonna be like, ma'am, you got to go. You are such a creep. I know, I'm sorry. Like, I wouldn't last past the first day of any set. They would be like, ma'am, you have got to go. You right. I'm out of control. Somebody put me in jail. She woke up like this? Why she? Look. Now, I didn't show this earlier in my part 3 reaction, but if you guys recall, Kunlong made a promise to Ping Fa. Remember, Ping Fa was like, I'm so scared that my daughter is going to fall for you. I think she's too close to you, blah, 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 blah. Please don't let that happen. And Kunlong agreed to that. Now, I know in the midst of everything that had transpired, because grandmamas died, people got busy, you know, it was a lot of things that happened. People forgot that, but Kunlong did make that promise. And again, like I said, that wasn't their moment. They were both moving off of the high of the emotion of the moment, but that wasn't their moment. And so, with all that being said, that's how we got this. How you gonna be looking at me like that all fine that morning? Now I'll be like, let's knock it down at least one more time. That's crazy.
ๆ เขาไม่ได้ฝันไปจริงๆด้วย
She done put the genie back in the bottle. She put the genie back in the bottle.
อันหนึ่งเป็นอะไรหรือเปล่าคะ
หนึ่ง
No, ain't no
เรื่องเมื่
way.
อคืน
If she was looking at me like that, bro, ain't no way I'd be able to break up with her. I've been, dog, we would have been knocking it out. I've been explaining to her mama and been like, look, I tried, baby. I tried. But personally, I knew your daughter for real, like, before I reconnected with you. So I don't feel like what I'm doing, like, bruh, I'm sorry, dog, but she look at me like that. I'm not breaking up with her.
ทำเหมือนไม่มีอะไรเกิดขึ้นได้ไหม
That's crazy. Act like nothing happened is crazy. That's her first time. Like,
Reset
in general. Not resetting my first time to 0. Reset.
ทำไม
หนึ่งคิดว่าเรื่องเมื่อคืนมันคืออะไร
ความรัก
Right. She was like,
มัน
it's
ใช่
love.
ความรักเหรอ
Damn.
สำหรับเขามันใช่
สำหรับหนึ่งเป็นแค่อะไรสักอย่าง
Now, I need y'all to understand. I know a lot of people want to hate Kunlung in this moment, but she had to say something to make Anung hate her in order to. She realized when she woke up the next morning that she had let things go too far. Okay? That's her consensus. That is her conclusion. That's how she feels. She feels like she took it. She doesn't recognize that what they did would have happened eventually. And in her mind, she took advantage of Anung. So she has to make this right by making Anung hate her. And the only way that she can do that is by reducing what they shared, the moment that they shared, to nothing more than meaningless sex, right? Something to fill the void for her grief. We all know that's what it was. We all know it wasn't that. She knows it wasn't that. But unfortunately, Anung is not going to know that. And that's the point. She has to get Anung to hate her so that she can put the distance between them that keeps her promise to her mom, to Anung's mom.
ที่ทำให้ลืมเรื่องร้ายๆไปได้ หนึ่งบอกเองไม่ใช่หรอว่าเป็นให้ได้ทุกอย่าง นั่นแหละ คือสิ่งที่ให้หนึ่งเป็นเมื่อคืน
Damn, how you gonna say that with the hickey on your neck? Like, well, that's what's crazy. You gonna say that with the hickey on your joint?
กับเธอควรจะเป็นยังไงก็ยังไม่แน่ใจว่ามันเรียกว่ารักได้หรือเปล่าบ่อยครั้งที่เธอเข้ามา
Lord, it breaks my heart,
และ
dog.
ทำให้มีเรื่องราวที่สองเรานั้นอยู่คืออะไร
Damn.
กับความรู้สึกดี
Now, obviously, she didn't mean any of that. And for those who missed it, there were people that were really like going in on Kunlung's character here. I was like, if it wasn't obvious to you that she did not mean any of that shit, the moment that Anung ran out of the room, she broke down in tears. Yeah, that's somebody who really meant what the fuck they said. She obviously didn't mean it. She was saying it because she was intentionally trying to do what she tried to do at the end of episode 4, which was break the girl's heart so that she finally leaves her alone. She wants her to hate her, so she finally leaves her alone because she realized that after the night they shared, things had gone too far. That's plain and simple, bro. It's that simple. Love is complicated and stupid, but it is what it is.
แล้วใช่หรือไม่สิ่งนี้ที่เรามีอยู่ฉันไม่รู้ว่ามันผิดไหม
She is clearly in love. Oh god, I can't wait till the rest of this. Give us the episodes now! I hate you for making us wait, 9 Star Studio. No, I'm joking. I love you guys. I know it'll be worth the wait. Damn. Her heart is breaking, yo. Look at her. I'm sorry.
ขอโทษ
Bro, the singer's ODing. Like, you gotta relax. Use your inside voice. She's screaming at us. She said, I'm sorry. Stink of butt. What we supposed to do with that, Dan? What we supposed to do with that? Oh, you ain't done singing? She ain't done crying. That's crazy. So, yeah, what I'm saying? With that being said, y'all, what you think, man? What do you think of the scene analysis? Do you guys feel like you learned any more? You learned any less? You like, nigga, everything you said, we already knew that. Fucking duh. Like, talk to me. Give me some feedback, man. I like doing these scene analysis. I would like to do more, but I really need you guys' feedback. Talk to me.